Howdy folks, welcome back. Don't mind the shop, it's a disaster. Life has been just absolutely crazy lately. And that kind of brings me to the point of today's video, which is I decided to sell my Dyna. And if you've been following along, man, I've had this bike actually longer than I've had a YouTube channel. I bought this thing 11 years ago, and it was my daily rider all the way up until 2024, which was last year when I bought the brand new Lowrider ST. And that has become my new daily rider. I also have other bikes, but the Dyna has a special place in my heart. Like I said, I've had the thing for 11 years. I've never had a motorcycle that long. I'm only 38, so all my other bikes have come and gone. But the Dyna's been through the thick and the thins. In fact, it's crazy to even think about. I've had this thing, I got it when my wife and I were just dating. We weren't even engaged yet. And I actually spent the money that I had saved up for an engagement ring on it. And I talked to her about it, of course. And she was like, yeah, go for it. So to give you guys a little backstory on this bike, I got it from the original owner, kind of, as in it was a trade-in at the dealership that I worked at in Los Angeles. Basically, I did like the trade evaluation and all that, but unfortunately, at that dealership, they did not let employees buy trade-ins. So, coincidentally, I'm gonna guess like a month or so after all this happened, I was moving to Northern California, and they still had the motorcycle. Well, out of the blue, I got a call from one of the employees who I knew, and was like, he knew I was into Harleys and stuff, and he was like, hey, are you interested in buying that Dyna that you took in on trade? BMW has like a new flooring plan thing, and we got to get a bunch of the used bikes out of here because they're doing a remodel, and the owner said stuff's got to go, and we'll sell it to you for what you took it in on trade for, which was a great deal. And if you're not familiar with how dealership stuff works, a lot of times if you have a trade-in and you're really stuck on getting a certain number for it, to make that work, what the dealer's going to do is they're not going to work with you so much on the price of the new vehicle. And we would do the thing called an ACV, which you take profit from the front of the deal and you write down the trade. So you can show the customer that you're giving them more money for their trade, but in reality, so you're not stuck with something that you can't sell, you just move numbers around, and yeah, dealership magic, all good. So they let me buy it for like the ACV value, and I was stoked. So when I first got it, it was all stock except for the exhaust. And obviously now it is not so stock. And this is the third or fourth variation basically that it's went through in its life. I guess we'll start at the front. So it is an FXDX, but it is not an 03 like the tank says. And basically, an FXDX, the big thing, the DX and the DXT, they come with dual disc front end. The T's come with a fairing that looks just like this and bags. This is just a DX because in 99 they didn't have a DXT yet. Also, the 99s were kind of the basic ones. 2000 and up, for one, the brakes got better. Also, the suspension got better. So they started putting the cartridge forks instead of the regular forks. And then it would have piggyback or adjustable rear suspension. Obviously, my bike has aftermarket stuff. So it was, you know, the silver. Like I said, I can't remember what the Vance and Hines, I think they were on there. But now I converted it. It's got 13 spoke mags, Willwood rotors. The forks are standard length, but they do have the heavy duty progressive springs in them. I think that those are 10-inch risers, and you can see the gauge is still smashed, but also you can see the mileage on the old girl. She's up there. So yeah, it's got the 100th anniversary tank, because the original tank got dented. Pisani exhaust, MX pegs, 490 Pro Series rear shocks from Progressive. Those things, definitely a big improvement over the originals. And they're under $1,000, which, you know, for the money, they perform well. Bunch of little stuff. Mirrors. The fenders I stripped down to bare metal and then wire wheeled and cleared years ago. Roland Sands fork brace, and then I used that to like make the fender mount. Gaiters, stainless lines. There's just 1,000 little things on it. LED turn signals. Everything's wired right internally and all that good stuff. It's got the integrated tail light with the turn signals and all that. So it's nice and bright. But yeah, like I said, she's been my reliable daily rider for years. And I really like this motorcycle. When I first bought the ST, I had thoughts of selling the Dyna, but I just kind of stuck it in the corner of the garage, and it's sort of been there since. Honestly, I think I've ridden it up until a couple weeks ago. I had ridden it 2 times in the last year and a half. One of the times I had to do a carb clean. The next time I had to buy a new battery for it. So at the end of the day, I'm not Jay Leno. I don't have Jay Leno money. If I had a huge shop over there that I just had endless space and money, maybe I would stick it in the corner. But I don't, and I'm not mad about that. I'm super fortunate. I have a ton of bikes, and for me, I'm really into doing riding trips and stuff now. The Dyna is fun for, you know, a little rip around town, but the ST is just such a good freaking bike that anytime I'm riding farther than the 3 miles to town, I'm on the ST. I just really love that thing, and it doesn't seem like that's going away. Also, I'd like to put a little time and energy into my other bikes. I have my birth year FXR and a whole bunch of other stuff stuffed away that needs worked on. So, like a month ago, I threw the Dyna up for sale. And man, I gotta tell you guys, the bike market is rough. The Dyna is a salvage title because it did get hit in my parking lot. And kind of is what it is. Salvage title. She's got a lot of miles on her, but it runs really good. No leaks. Everything's right and tight. It's got new tires, all that good stuff. In the Bay Area of California, which I'm in the Santa Cruz Mountains, but in the Bay Area, if you go on Craigslist, Marketplace, that kind of thing, you're going to see bikes like this that have clean titles that are maybe in a little bit better cosmetic condition. As in, you know, I have bare metal fenders that are clear coated. I get it. But they're listed crazy. Like, I'm talking 9 to, there was one that was like 15. And then, yeah, silly high prices. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to shoot for the moon. I put it up for $5,500. and I got a ton of messages, and nobody showed up for like, you know, a week or so. So I lowered it to 5, and still same thing. Lots of messages, same old scammers, but nobody really showed up with the cash. And coincidentally, out of the blue, this dude who I sold that awesome fully adjustable Harley front end that I built a few weeks back to, hit me up about it, and he wants to buy it. And that is pretty cool. Because I've done business with the guy and I trust him or whatever, he asked me if, you know, if I would deliver it, because he does live a couple hours away. And I said, sure, no problem. My truck gets out of the shop at the beginning of the week. My diesel's been down for like 2 months. Not the shop's fault. I had to do some traveling, so I didn't take it in right away. / I also tried to figure it out myself. Couldn't figure it out. Uh-oh. Hold on. Take 2. Nope. Long story short, the injector driver module went bad, which, so needless to say, I couldn't figure that out without taking it into the shop. They knocked that out. Well, I went to pick it up and it was running rough still, so I had to take it back in, and that's where she's at right now. I do have 2 other trucks. My 78 F-150 with the old big block in, which technically I could take, but it's not a freeway monster. And like I said, this is like a 2.5-hour trip, and it has a 460 in it, so I would have to stop for gas a couple times. I don't want to do that. It sounds horrible, and if it broke down, I'd be really not a happy camper. That leaves the new Sport Track. And surprisingly, a couple keen viewers noticed that in my last couple videos and commented on it. Yes, I got a Sport Track. Relative had it, and basically, you know, I ended up with it. I am kind of liking it though. It's growing on me. I've done some work to it. I need to do some more work to it, but it is running and driving, and I made some measurements, and I think that the Dyna is going to fit. I guess that's going to be my option here. We're going to Sport Track the Dyna hours and hours away, dang near to Sacramento. What has my life become? A little cold start magic. One of the huge differences that I've noticed between the carbureted twin cam, practically a dinosaur, compared to the injected Milwaukee 8 is the warm-up time. The twin cam takes forever, and, you know, just the nature of the beast. But, man, the Milwaukee 8 seems to warm up a lot faster. It only matters, if, I guess, if you have neighbors, which I don't. So what do you guys think? You think a full-size Harley's gonna fit in the back of this little thing? I don't know. I don't know. Oh my goodness. What are you guys doing? Vicious. I don't know if this is gonna be a work truck or not. Hopefully. If this thing just had a long bed, then we could do something with it. It's gonna work, but it's a little tight. A little tight. Excuse me being out of breath. This thing's kind of heavy. I think we're gonna be all right. Like a glove. It's like Ford even, they thought of me. Now that I know I can fit a full-size Harley in the back, the Sport Track is starting to look more and more like a work truck. She fits. A little tailgate down action. We're gonna put a couple more straps on before we take off in the morning. But I'm pretty happy with that. I think we're gonna make it. It is an absolute beautiful day for a drive. And I'm not crying yet. I think I'm gonna save that for the ride home. Just kidding, just kidding. Ugh, but I am gonna miss the old girl. Well guys, we're just in a super nice neighborhood up here in Antioch. I just dropped off the Dyna and it's a done. And I wanted to tell you guys one of the reasons that I'm actually kind of stoked on the guy that I sold the Dyna to. I just did a deal with him like a month and a half ago on some parts, and he's building an FXR that his uncle gave him, and he's just doing a frame up build. So he's going to use the engine, the wiring harness, and some other parts from the Dyna. And then he has a buddy that has a twin cam, and I think that they're going to either cobble together another bike or part the Dyna out. But the reason that I'm excited about it is because I know that the Dyna is never gonna be like my bike, like the way that I had it set up. So I never have to think about seeing it on Marketplace or Craigslist or anything like that. It is a done deal now. Like as in, you know, no chance of buying it back later in life. If I want another one, I'll have to build another one. That's just the way she goes. And as much as I want to take some of that money and buy goodies for the ST, I do have the giveaway chopper that is still a thing. I've had like customer work, you know, kind of got to pay the bills and stuff, but we're going to get back on that. I need to do a little bit more fab work to the frame, and then we can basically start knocking everything else out. But just a few hours more of fab, so we got to have Jordan over with his little TIG welder and knock out the oil bag mounts and a couple other little things. But as always, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.
Fire